We are now into my candidacy speech. I now declare my candidacy for the office of Member of Parliament for the Westmoreland Eastern Constituency to be achieved by standing as an independent candidate in the upcoming general elections. I have already informed both the returning officer of the constituency and the Director of Elections of my decision. Some of you know that I participated in the March 2012 local government elections as an independent candidate in the White House division of this constituency, where I received 50 votes. I now use this medium to again thank those of you who voted for me and those who have since given me support and assurance that you will vote for me the next time around. Indeed, one woman told me that she will walk with me to Darliston when I go to hand in my nomination papers the next time around. Frankly, I thought that that would be local government elections due this year. So I had begun informing citizens in the White House division of my intention to again participate as an independent candidate. But the government has changed course and seems to be sweeping the nation to general elections in the seemingly near future. And so I have adopted to this new current. Why me? It may seem to some that I have made a stupid decision in offering myself as a candidate for the office of Member of Parliament for the constituency. But the reality is, I would be a fool if I did not offer myself. One reason is that I am in need of representation that is inclusive of citizens and does not exclude anyone based on their affiliation, be it political, religious, financial, social, educational, or in any other way. I also know that many of you feel the need for such representation. Additionally, I know I am competent, able, and willing to do a job that I have been prepared for in my regular activities for over 40 years. And I am now 55 years old, 2 years older than independent Jamaica. In that, I was appointed prefect while in grade 5 at primary school St. Anne's Bay, elected male house captain in 5th form at Yorkcastle High School 1976 to 1977, and sports director on the Guild of Students at Brownstown Community College 1 year later. Since then, and before coming to Westmoreland in 2001, I have served as Vice Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church in Jamaica, Secretary of the St. Mary of Zion Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, and Secretary of Local 43 of the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. I have also served in various managerial positions in both the entertainment and business sectors. Another more important reason is that my competence, ability, and willingness and preparation have been afforded me by Almighty God, my Creator. And so, I would be like the man who buried his talent if I did not, instead of investing it, in this case for the benefit of the citizens of Jamaica, if I did not stand as a candidate for the parliament of my country. Now, as a fisherman never says his fish stinks, I will not tell you about my character, ability, achievements, or potential, but rather I will allow you to form your own opinion by interviewing the many persons with whom I have interacted and worked with since October 2001, mostly as a volunteer, at times as an itinerant physical education and sport teacher, a multi-sport coach, journalist, organizer, and social worker, among other things. They can be found not only in the constituency, but across the entire parish of Westmoreland, and indeed in almost all the other parishes, who may be willing to add their voice to the debate as to whether I am a competent candidate for Member of Parliament. These include the administration of the Board of Education Region 4, past and present principals, board members, teachers, and students of the following schools: Bluefields All Age, now defunct; Mearnsville Primary, formerly All Age; Enfield Primary and Infant; Holly Hill Primary and Infant; Beaufort Primary, Barneside Primary, New Hope Primary and Junior High, Kings Primary, Salem Primary and Junior High, Chantilly Primary and Basic, Ferris Primary, Peggy Bar Primary, Sir Clifford Campbell Primary, Moreland Hill Primary and Infant, the Manning School, Petersfield High, Sydney Pagan Agricultural High in St. Elizabeth, Godfrey Stewart High, and Belmont Academy. You may also speak with the management and staff of the following media houses and sports associations: the Western Mirror newspaper, the Jamaica Observer, Vibes FM, IRA FM, TVJ Sports, the Jamaica Volleyball Association, Netball Jamaica, Westmoreland Netball Association, Jamaica Rugby Union, the Jamaica Football Federation, the Westmoreland Football Association, Jamaica National Building Society White House Community Football League, Westmoreland Cricket Association, Eastern Westmoreland Sports Committee, Jamaica Teachers Association, Sports Association, Westmoreland Chapter, Westmoreland Primary Sports Association, and the Institute of Sports. You may also speak with the following the persons who are involved with Belmont All-Stars Youth Club, the Social Development Commission, Westmoreland Parish Library, Westmoreland Health Department, the Victim Support Unit, Westmoreland Senior Citizens Association, the Ken and Sadie Student Support Initiative, CASI, the National Council on Drug Abuse, the Community Development Committees of Bluefields, Mearnsville, Alder, and Beeston Spring, the White House Development Area Committee, the Kiwanis Club of Westmoreland South, Sandals White House European Village and Spa, the Westmoreland and Negril Chambers of Commerce, as well as members of almost all religious groups, including the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, of which I am a member since 1993. Please, you may also speak with Ambassador Burchell Whiteman, who was principal when I entered Yorkastle High School in 1971 and the Brownstone Community College in 1978. Now, one point about me that you may not uncover from these persons is the fact that I always knew that I am a leader, in that I am the first one for my mother. And I know how to follow because I am the second one for my father. However, they all know that I neither lead in ignorance nor follow foolishness. Can I win? Some people have asked why I think I can win an election for Member of Parliament for Westmoreland Eastern. The answer is many and varied. Firstly, by voting for myself, I would have gained a conscience victory because I would have voted for someone who is properly suited to be MP, no matter who else is nominated. Indeed, even if former Prime Minister, the most Honorable P.J. Patterson, should invoke his famous "I shall return" performance and allow himself to be nominated as a candidate in this coming elections, he shall see my name on the ballot above his, because M comes before P in the English alphabet. That is how serious I am about my candidacy. I intend definitely to vote for me, and you can also. Secondly, I am encouraged by Asta Black's 44 votes achieved in the 2006 by-elections, considering the fact that A. Asta Black came directly from Trelawney without having worked in the constituency, but fulfilled the need for an alternative to the established failures that masquerade as political representation. And B. I already received 50 votes in the White House division in the 2012 local government elections, after having used only 7 weeks to find out if the people would support me, and then announcing my candidacy, commitment and campaign, and having also worked in various capacities as stated above across the entire constituency since 2001. Thirdly, the chart shows more registered voters did not vote in the last 3 parliamentary elections held in the constituency than those who voted for a sitting MP, the Honorable Luther Buchanan, Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture, who was elected on all 3 occasions. This data, taken from the EOJ's website, proves the truth of Mr. Buchanan's statement that Westmoreland Eastern is not a garrison constituency. The chart shows that in the by-election of June 7, 2006, there were 21,876 voters on the list, of which 44 voted for Asta Black, 3,301 voted for Don Foote, 6,400 voted for Luther Buchanan, that's 29.26%, while 12,115, 55.38%, did not vote. In the general election of September 3, 2011, there were 20,462 voters on the list, of which 4,388 voted for Don Foote, 7,751 voted for Luther Buchanan, that's 37.88%, while 8,323, 40.68%, did not vote. And in the general elections held December 29, 2011, there were 24,830 electors, of which 3,071 voted for Don Foote, 8,066 voted for Luther Buchanan, that's 32.48%, while 13,630, a whopping 54.89%, did not vote. Citizens of Westmoreland Eastern, especially you young people who may have voted for the first time in the 2011 elections, and those of you who may be eligible to vote now in this coming elections, staying away from the polls will not get you good representation. The only way to get proper representation is by voting for someone who is competent, willing, and able to do the job. In my book, that person is me, and so I will be voting for me, and you will have a chance to vote for me also. I am convinced that everyone who has reached the age of 18 years should get enumerated and vote at election time, as by so doing, you will be fulfilling Article 21 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of the United Nations. In case you have never seen the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, this is it, and I will read Article 21. It says, everyone has the right to take part in the government of his country, directly or through freely chosen representatives. Section 2, everyone has the right to equal access to public service in his country. Section 3, the will of the people shall be the basis of the authority of government. This will shall be expressed in periodic and genuine elections, which shall be by universal and equal suffrage, and shall be held by secret vote or by equivalent free voting process. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 21. Obstacle to democracy. Our electoral process is among the best in the world, but it is hampered by the problem of vote buying and vote selling, which are both illegal. This problem is condemned under the Representation of the People's Act of November 20, 1944, bribery and treating. That has been amended as recently as 2011. Similarly, a political activist or politician offering to take you to the polling station on election day can be seen as vote buying, as by so doing, he or she is seeking an unfair advantage in the hope that you will vote for him or his candidate. Reasonable citizens, if a candidate is willing to pay transportation for you to go to vote, he should be willing to pay transportation for you to go to work, or to the beach, or to everywhere that you want to go. Remember the words of the Honorable Robert Nesta Marley OM.
Never make a politician when you have favor. They will always want to
Citizens, don't be fooled by this illegal vote buying aim of manipulation. Protect your integrity. Don't sell your vote. Even if you have to walk, find your own way to the polling station on election day. Remember, Paul Bogle walked for our rights. Get out and vote. It is your right. Vote your conscience. Vote for representation that includes everyone. Vote for yours truly, Haile Mika'el, for Member of Parliament. That's what I will do. I will vote for me, and you can vote for me too. Remember, your vote is your right, so please use it wisely. As a prelude to the presentation of my commitment as Member of Parliament, I will now present the recorded track, Coalition Government, the final poem from my mini album, Political Trilogy. This music video is on DVD. Vote independent if you want to solve the problem. Get up off the fence, you're stance will make a big difference. I say, vote independent. Get involved to solve the problem. Vote independent coalition government. We have got to change the system. All it's doing is causing problems. Having a small nation such as we, divided politically, thus weakening the strength of our people's parliament, not allowing the best to represent our needs. Among the things that we need is to get rid of the British monarchy, collect the reparation Europe owe it. Remember they slave us for it already. Lower taxes, establish farms and factories, build good roads and good houses, provide education, healthcare and repatriate who want to leave. That's why I say vote independent if you want to solve the problem. Get up off the fence, your stance will make a big difference. I say vote independent, get involved to solve the problem. Vote independent coalition government. Eternal Father, we rightly sing, remembering the blessings we have got from Him, some of which we have thrown away due to selfish political gains. As a Christian nation, we do need men and women with integrity to lead, who won't sell us out for a little rice and peace. That's why I say vote independent if you want to solve the problem. Get up off the fence, your stance will make a big difference. I say vote independent, get involved to solve the problem. Vote independent coalition government. Coalition government speaks to some of the policies that I agree with and will speak up for. Using definitions found in the English Oxford Dictionary, we can say independent coalition government is a system free from outside control and not subject to any other's authority by which a state is governed, that has a temporary alliance, especially of political parties. Interestingly, I wrote coalition government on November 1, 2000, almost 6 months, over 6 months before I even knew that I would be coming to live in Westmoreland. My commitment. As a member of Parliament, I am committed to ensuring Parliament serves the interest of everyone in Jamaica. Giving quarterly financial and project reports of activities my office is engaged with in the constituency. Providing training in agricultural education. Promoting land and infrastructure development. Creating employment and investment opportunities. Implementing recycling of solid waste, garbage, and encouraging the establishment of community-based organizations. You may ask, how am I going to achieve all this? The answer is through education, which is the salvation of our nation. It is our first national hero, the Right Excellent Marcus Messiah Garvey, in whose hometown I was conceived and raised, who said, education is the medium by which a people are prepared for the creation of their own particular civilization and the advancement and glory of their own race. It is by education that we become prepared for our duties and responsibilities in life. Words of the Right Excellent Marcus Messiah Garvey. I care enough to want to see improvement, so I will use my time and energy to show you, my fellow citizens, how to help yourselves. Firstly, therefore, to ensure our collective success, I will encourage the formation and maintenance of community-based organizations that will be able to help secure and unite communities and qualify for grant funding from local and foreign-based donor organizations to finance projects that the government may not be able to fund completely through the office of your Member of Parliament, me. Constitution change. the #1 priority to ensure Parliament serves the interests of all the people in Jamaica is for it to give up all ties to the British monarchy, meaning to change the Constitution. The only purpose served by this current Constitution is to enable the British monarchy to continue boasting that we are inferior to them, that we cannot govern ourselves, and that we were better off under its leadership. Maintaining our former colonizers, the British monarchy, as our sovereign head causes citizens to be psychologically brutalized daily. Evidence of this being that many persons refer to their going to work as going to slave. Citizens are disconnected from feeling ownership of the country. Thus, they display no civic responsibility, but rather neglect and abuse state property, seemingly not even realizing that it is their taxes that is being wasted. At present, our Constitution allows for an opposition in Parliament, which is very unnecessary, as what we really need is a coalition government. But to get that, we need leaders in Parliament who will make laws that are just, that will protect the rights of citizens and boost our self-esteem, allowing us to fully emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. Changing the Constitution will achieve this. As MP, I will work with my fellow parliamentarians to change the Constitution, ridding it of all its attachments to the British, including among them the office of Governor General, the royal helmet on the coat of arms, the mace in Garden House, and the bandana cloth brought here from England via India, another of their former colonies. The matter of reparations is still very relevant and must be pursued with the interest of the people at the fore, and not, as is now being contemplated, that of seeking only debt write-off and compensation equivalent to what slave owners received in 1834. I will also work towards getting set dates for general and local government elections under the new Constitution as necessary, and having the retirement age of elected representatives set at 65 years. Citizens, consider this. Dr. the Honorable Usain St. Leopold knows that in August 2016, he will be able to defend his Olympic sprint titles in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and that in August 2017, if he so desires, he will be able to defend his World Championships of Athletics sprint titles in London, England. But he does not know when he will go to the polls to elect someone to represent him in the parliament of his country, our country, from which our next government will be formed. This is a national disgrace. Sorry, correction. Given the global status of the Honorable Dr. Bolt, this is an international disgrace that I, as your MP, will work unceasingly to eliminate. As a parliamentarian, I will also support projects of my fellow parliamentarians that are beneficial by lobbying to get them implemented. Accountability and transparency. As your MP, I will ensure you, my constituents, receive reports every 3 months on the status of projects being carried out in the constituency through the office of MP, and on the use of funds allotted to me by the Ministry of Finance for the development of the constituency. We are in the information technology age, so there are many ways in which to get information to you, including the old-fashioned paper and ink. Agricultural education. Food provision and security is a massive problem in Jamaica that can only be corrected by us improving our agricultural production output and developing a seed bank. As MP, I will offer young citizens who are now jobless without a skill the opportunity to receive training in practical agricultural science through the Hard Trust NTA at Culloden and Seaford Town and other venues as necessary. This is something that I have already proposed, but I'm not aware that it is even being contemplated, much more implemented. These new young farmers will then qualify for a land on an initiative to release agricultural lands in the constituency that is held by the Urban Development Corporation, the UDC. But more on that later. Also on the education front, I will be asking for volunteers to assist in teaching adult literacy classes for the benefit of those in need, and at the same time encourage every child now enrolled in school to make sure they do their part to get educated. This means I aim to visit every school in the constituency by at least once during the academic year to interact with students, teachers, and possibly parents. Land and infrastructure. At independence in 1962, land held by the British monarchy as crown lands were handed over to the newly installed government, which established the UDC in 1968, with a duty to ensure that development takes place in designated areas when and where it is most needed within the framework of national priorities. As your MP, I will show my fellow parliamentarians the need for zoning lands under the control of the UDC so that citizens will benefit by having the opportunity of legal possession of lands for housing, farming, recreation, and commercial and industrial activities, while watershed and forest areas are preserved. To be landless in your native land with no hope of getting any, but being forced to occupy an idle plot as a means of survival, only to be labeled as squatter and have your belongings bulldozed, leaving you to wander about with no alternative but to repeat the cycle, is a most demoralizing and iniquitous situation that I, as a member of parliament, will not allow to happen anywhere in Jamaica without my direct intervention. And so, because an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure, I will educate my fellow parliamentarians in the benefit of zoning UDC-controlled lands and making them available to citizens. Another area that I, as your MP, will engage in is the development of sports facilities and the improvement of existing ones, including those at schools in the constituency. I will then show citizens how to manage and maintain them for the benefit of themselves and their children to endless generations. While it is safe to say that the government may not always be able to fund repair of all roads and provide water to every household, failure to try, and worse, failure to report to citizens the possibility of fulfilling their needs in these regards is unacceptable. And citizens, when you receive these necessary amenities, including electricity, do not steal them, rather pay the cost. Investment, employment, and recycling. As your MP, I will seek out investment and employment opportunities available through Jamaica Promotions, JAMPRO. Two projects that I will immediately embark upon and lobby to get investors interested in funding are: one, the establishment of a food processing factory to, among other things, utilize the abundance of fruits produced every year but are wasted for lack of harvesting, and two, setting up a recycling plant to deal with waste consisting of plastic, tin, paper, and glass. These activities will generate employment and income. If you have not already started, citizens, you need to begin separating your garbage and make compost of vegetable matter that you throw away. Compost can be used to fertilize your backyard garden if you have one. The remainder of your garbage may be placed where it can be collected by the Solid Waste Management Department. Citizens, please note, the burning of plastic is dangerous to our health and to the environment. It is a major cause of climate change, which is happening all over the world, resulting in heat waves, drought, flooding, and rising ocean levels. In closing, finally, you may wonder where I will get the energy and time to do all this. But the fact is that these are some of the things you and I would like our Member of Parliament to do on our behalf, especially as he or she is being paid from our taxes to work on our behalf. As your MP, I am committed to earn my salary, and so with your support of my candidacy, I am sure we will have a Member of Parliament for Westmoreland Eastern who will be able, with your cooperation, to move the constituency and the country into the 21st century. 15 years of which will be completed in 118 days' time. I thank you for listening.